You know what's strange? We spend so much of our lives trying to avoid pain, pretending it doesn't exist, covering it up with distractions, running faster whenever it gets close. But the truth is, pain always finds us, and when it does, it doesn't knock politely. It breaks the door down. Maybe that's what's happening to you right now. Maybe you're sitting in your car after another long day, staring at the steering wheel, feeling like the weight of the world is pressing on your chest. Maybe you're lying in bed, scrolling through your phone, pretending you don't care that everything feels off. Or maybe you're just tired of holding it together, tired of pretending you're okay when you're not. I know that kind of tired. It's not the kind that sleep fixes. It's the kind that comes from carrying silent battles inside your mind. The ones no one ever sees. But let me tell you something the Stoics understood better than anyone. The moments that break you are often the ones that build you. The fire that burns your old self away is the same fire that forges who you were always meant to be. Marcus Aurelius once wrote, "The mind that pursues the good, whether it achieves it or not, is honored by its very pursuit." He wasn't writing this to impress anyone. He was reminding himself, a man who lost children, faced betrayal, and led an empire through chaos, that even in heartbreak, even in confusion, there's dignity in continuing to seek what's good. That's what this video is about. Not pretending your pain doesn't exist. Not forcing yourself to smile when your heart is heavy. But learning how to see the strength that's already hidden within your suffering. Because here's the truth, and I won't sugarcoat it. You can't escape pain, but you can transform it. And once you do, it will become your greatest teacher. In this journey, we're going to explore 6 brutal Stoic truths. They are not easy to hear, but they are necessary. Each one has the power to tear away an illusion and reveal a deeper strength beneath it. You will see why your darkest day might actually be your turning point. Why feeling deeply isn't a flaw, but your greatest gift. Why losing everything can sometimes be the beginning of finding yourself. Why broken dreams can lead to more honest ones. Why your struggles aren't punishments, but sacred teachers. And why starting over, no matter your age, might be the bravest act of all. I won't speak to you as if I have everything figured out. I'll speak as someone who's been there, broken, lost, uncertain, and somehow still found meaning in the wreckage. Because that's what the Stoics teach us. Life isn't about controlling what happens. It's about learning how to remain whole when it does. So if you're here because life has knocked the air out of you, stay. Let's walk through this together. I can't promise the pain will vanish, but I can promise that by the end, you'll see it differently. Because maybe, just maybe, you'll realize that the thing you thought would destroy you was the very thing setting you free. There's a day each of us remembers, the one that shattered us. The day everything you thought you knew about life stopped making sense. Maybe it was the moment you lost someone you loved. Maybe it was when you realized the person you trusted the most would never come back. Or maybe it was when you looked in the mirror and didn't recognize the person staring back. We all have that day. And on that day, something inside you breaks. The story you've been telling yourself about who you are, what matters, what's safe, all of it crumbles. You feel like the ground has disappeared beneath your feet. You reach for anything to hold on to, but everything slips away. It feels unfair, cruel, and maybe it is. But here's what the Stoics knew, and what life will eventually teach you if you listen long enough. Your worst day is not a punishment. It's a revelation. Epictetus, who was enslaved and beaten, once said, "It's not what happens to you, but how you react to it that matters." He didn't say this from comfort. He said it from the floor, with broken bones, stripped of everything society said gave life meaning. And yet, from that suffering, he discovered something pure. When life takes everything from you, what remains is the truth of who you are. That's what your worst day is trying to show you. It's not there to destroy you. It's there to reveal you, to show you the kind of strength that doesn't come from victories, but from surviving when there was no one left to cheer for you. I remember sitting in my car one night, headlights off, crying until I couldn't breathe. It wasn't the quiet, movie kind of crying. It was raw, shaking, gasping, the kind that feels like your body is trying to expel the pain itself. And somewhere in the middle of that storm, a strange calm appeared. A tiny voice inside me whispered, "Stop asking why this is happening to me. Start asking what this is trying to teach me." That moment didn't fix everything, but it changed everything. Because suddenly, I wasn't a victim of my circumstances. I became a student of my own life. The pain didn't disappear. It transformed. The fear didn't fade. It became fuel. The truth is, you don't learn much from easy days. You learn from the ones that tear you apart. You learn from heartbreak, from loss, from humiliation, from standing at the edge of yourself and realizing you're still here. That's not weakness. That's grace in motion. Think about the people you admire most. Every story that moves you, every act of greatness, every soul that radiates quiet strength, they all share one thing in common. They've been through something. They've fallen apart and put themselves back together, piece by piece. They've seen the worst and still chose to believe in something better. That's what your worst day offers you. Not comfort, not certainty, but truth. It strips away the illusions you've been hiding behind. The idea that you're only lovable when you succeed. The lie that strength means never breaking. The myth that peace is found by avoiding pain. Your worst day takes all that away, and what's left is just you, naked, trembling, and real. And that's where your life truly begins. Because after the storm, when the noise finally quiets, you'll see it, a small light flickering in the wreckage. That's you, the part of you that refused to die when everything else did. The part that still believes in kindness, in meaning, in the possibility that maybe, just maybe, this pain was not the end of you, but the beginning of your becoming. If you can find even a single breath of gratitude for that, the healing has already begun. Because gratitude is what turns suffering into strength. It's what transforms chaos into clarity. It's what allows you to look back one day and say, "That was the worst day of my life, and also the day I finally woke up." Your worst day doesn't define you. It refines you. It burns away what was false, so that what's true can finally breathe. And as strange as it sounds, one day you'll look back and whisper to yourself, "I'm thankful it happened, because without that pain, I would have never met the real me." So, when the world feels too heavy to carry, when the nights seem endless, when you think it's over, remember this: you survive every worst day you've ever had, and you will survive this one too. Because what breaks you today is only shaping who you'll become tomorrow. You're not being punished. You're being prepared. They told you that you feel too much, didn't they? That you're too sensitive, too emotional, too intense. Maybe they said it gently, like they were worried for you. Or maybe they said it with irritation, like your feelings were an inconvenience. But the message was always the same. That something about you was wrong. So you tried to toughen up. You learned to hide your tears, to laugh things off, to pretend the things that hurt didn't matter. You built walls round your heart, thinking that would make life easier. But instead, it made you feel less alive. Here's what I wish someone had told you sooner. Your sensitivity is not a weakness. It's a form of strength this world has forgotten how to value. The Stoics, the very philosophers people often mistake for emotionless, were not cold men detached from life. They felt deeply, they loved fiercely, They wept for friends, for cities, for dreams that died too soon. Seneca once wrote letters so honest and vulnerable that 2,000 years later, people still cry reading them. He said, "Every new beginning comes from some other beginning's end." Those weren't words of logic. They were words of a man who had loved, lost, and kept his heart open anyway. The Stoics didn't suppress emotion. They respected it. They understood that emotions are not the enemy. They are messages, signals from your inner world telling you what matters most. When you feel anxious in a relationship, it's not paranoia. It's your intuition sensing something isn't aligned. When you feel joy so deep it brings you to tears, that's your soul recognizing truth. When you ache watching someone else suffer, that's compassion, the highest form of strength. Your sensitivity allows you to experience life in high definition, while most people see it in dull grayscale. You notice the sadness behind someone's smile. You feel the tension in a room that no one else acknowledges. You cry at movies because, in a way, you're not watching, you're remembering. You understand pain because you've lived close to it. This world doesn't need more numb people pretending not to care. It needs people who can feel deeply without being destroyed by it. And that's where the Stoic part comes in. Not to harden you, but to anchor you, to teach you that feeling deeply and staying grounded can coexist. That you can cry and still be strong. That you can care and still hold your boundaries. Your sensitivity is your bridge to others. It's what allows you to connect beyond words, beyond logic. It's why people come to you when they're in pain, because they sense you understand, even in silence. You see, Stoicism was never about emotionless detachment. It was about emotional mastery. The Stoics knew that emotions are powerful, but only when you learn to ride their waves instead of drowning in them. You don't have to shut your feelings off to be strong. You only have to learn not to be ruled by them. Think of the ocean. Waves rise and crash, but the depths remain still. That's you when you learn to hold your sensitivity with wisdom. The waves can move wildly at the surface, but deep down, you stay calm. There's something profoundly human about feeling deeply in a world that constantly tries to desensitize you. Your empathy, your compassion, your quiet kindness, those are not signs you're weak. They're signs you've chosen to keep your heart open in a world that rewards closed ones. That takes courage most people will never understand. So stop apologizing for your tears. Stop wishing to be harder. Stop thinking your emotions are problems to fix. Because every time you feel something deeply, joy, sadness, love, grief, you're alive. You're awake. You're fully here. And being fully here, in this moment, with all its beauty and chaos, is the most stoic thing you can do. Strength isn't about feeling less. It's about feeling everything and still choosing to stay kind, to stay open, to stay human. You don't need to dull your heart to survive. You just need to trust that it's strong enough to feel and heal. So, the next time someone says, "You're too sensitive," smile. Because what they really mean is that you notice life more than they do. And that's not something to be ashamed of. It's something to honor. Your sensitivity isn't a flaw. It's your secret weapon. It's what connects you to truth, to love, and to everything that still makes this world worth saving. There comes a moment in every person's life when everything they thought they needed starts to fall apart. It doesn't send a warning. It doesn't ask permission. One day, life just decides it's time to take away what you thought you couldn't live without. A job, a relationship, a version of yourself that once felt safe. Gone. And when it happens, it feels like death. Because in many ways, it is. It's the death of the person you used to be. The death of illusions you once mistook for truth. The death of the idea that you were ever fully in control. We don't talk enough about that kind of grief. the kind that comes when your outer world collapses, but you still have to wake up every morning and pretend everything's fine. It's the quietest kind of heartbreak, and also the one that transforms you the most. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "Loss is nothing else but change, and change is nature's delight." It's a beautiful sentence, until you're the one in the middle of that change, trying to breathe while the ground shifts beneath you. But he wrote it as a man who buried his children, who ruled through war, who watched his own empire crumble. He wasn't celebrating loss. He was acknowledging that in losing, he found truth. When everything you thought you were is stripped away, what's left is something you can finally trust. Something raw, quiet, and real. That's the paradox. We fear losing everything because we think it will destroy us. But it's often the only thing that ever truly reveals us. I remember a night when I thought I'd lost it all. The job that gave me purpose disappeared. The relationship I thought would last forever ended with a silence I couldn't break. I packed everything I owned into a few boxes and sat in an empty apartment that didn't feel like home. For weeks, I lived surrounded by echoes of laughter, of plans, of the person I thought I was supposed to be. But here's what I learned sitting in that silence. When you lose everything, you gain clarity. You start seeing how much of your life was built on things that were never really yours: approval, status, routines that numbed you. And underneath all that noise, you find something untouched. Rock bottom, as cruel as it feels, is solid ground. It's the foundation you rebuild from, not as who you were, but as who you truly are. Think of a tree in winter. To the eye, it looks dead, stripped bare, lifeless against the cold sky. But beneath the frozen surface, life is quietly gathering strength. Roots deepen, the tree conserves its energy, preparing for a spring. It's not dying, it's becoming. That's what happens when you lose everything. You may look empty from the outside, tired, lost, broken. But underneath, your soul is gathering strength for the next season. You're developing roots so deep that no future storm can ever rip you out again. Losing everything forces you to meet yourself in a way success never will. It makes you ask questions you've avoided your whole life. Who am I when there's nothing left to prove? What do I actually value? What kind of life do I want if nobody's watching? Those are terrifying questions. They're also the doorway to peace. Because once you stop clinging to the version of life you thought you needed, you create space for the life you were always meant to live. Loss is not the enemy. Attachment is. We suffer most not because things change, but because we resist their changing. We hold on to jobs, people, identities long after they've served their purpose, because we're afraid of what will happen if we let go. But here's the truth. Letting go doesn't mean giving up. It means trusting that what's meant for you will never require you to betray yourself to keep it. Every loss carries a hidden invitation to rebuild, to realign, to return home to yourself. It doesn't matter if it takes months or years. Healing isn't a race. Sometimes the pieces have to stay scattered for a while before you see what new picture they're meant to form. And yes, the in-between is lonely. But that loneliness is sacred space, the pause before the rebirth. It's where you stop pretending and start listening. It's where the noise fades, and your real voice, the one buried under expectation and fear, begins to whisper again. When you finally start to rebuild, you'll realize something beautiful. You didn't lose as much as you thought. You only lost what wasn't meant to stay. You only shed what couldn't come with you to the next chapter. You'll laugh differently. You'll choose differently. You'll love differently. Not out of need, but out of truth. You'll stop chasing what looks good and start honoring what feels right. And that's the kind of freedom no one can take from you. So if you're standing in the ashes of something you once loved, don't rush to rebuild. Sit there for a while. Let yourself grieve. Let yourself feel the emptiness fully. Because only by sitting in the void can you discover what's real. Then, when you're ready, rise slowly. Gather what remains, the lessons, the quiet strength, the deeper knowing. That's all you need. Everything else will find its way back in a form that fits who you become. You see, the art of losing everything is really the art of finding yourself. Not the version molded by others' expectations, but the version life has been patiently waiting for. And the beauty of it all is this: once you've met that version of yourself, you will never fear loss again. Because you'll realize that even if everything else disappears, you'll still have you. And that your resilience, your stillness, your truth is something no one can ever take away. So the next time life unravels and everything falls apart, don't ask, why me? Ask instead, what is this trying to make of me? Because sometimes you have to lose the life you plan to make space for the life you were born to live. I want to tell you something that most people never hear in their lifetime. Your struggle is sacred. That's not a poetic line. It's a truth we forget, because society teaches us the opposite. We're told that struggle means failure, that pain means something's gone wrong, that if life feels heavy, we must have taken a wrong turn. But the Stoics, they saw it differently. They saw struggle as the forge of the soul. They believed that life doesn't test you to break you. It tests you to reveal how unbreakable you truly are. We live in a world that treats discomfort like a disease. There's a pill for every sadness, a distraction for every silence, an escape for every moment of unease. But what if those moments, the ones we're so desperate to numb, are the very moments our soul is trying to wake us up? Marcus Aurelius said, "Accept the things to which fate binds you, and love the people with whom fate associates you." That's not resignation. That's courage, the kind that whispers, "I will stop running from what hurts, and instead I will learn from it." I once sat across from a friend who was going through a divorce after 20 years of marriage. She kept apologizing for crying. Every few minutes, she'd wipe her tears and say, "I should be stronger than this." And I remember looking at her, this woman who had built a family, raised children, endured storms, and thinking, she already is strong. Her tears weren't weakness. They were evidence that she still cared. We've been taught to be ashamed of our struggles, to hide our breaking points, to only show the highlight reel of our lives. But that's not strength. That's suffocation. Real strength isn't pretending you're fine. It's facing what hurts and letting it change you. Your struggle is not chaos. It's curriculum. Every pain you've endured, every heartbreak you survived, every failure that made you doubt yourself, all of it is teaching you something about who you are: patience, empathy, resilience, faith, lessons that can't be learned through comfort. There's a reason every great teacher, healer, and leader in history has known suffering, because only those who have walked through fire can guide others out of it. Only those who've been lost know how to hold someone else's hand in the dark. Only those who've been broken understand how to love gently. Your struggle is your initiation into compassion. It's the proof that you are human, and that being human is the most sacred thing you'll ever be. When you sit with your pain long enough, it begins to soften you, not into weakness, but into wisdom. That depression that once felt like a weight, it's teaching you patience with yourself. That heartbreak that left you gasping, it's showing you the capacity your heart has to heal. That anxiety you carry, it's reminding you how deeply you care about doing things right. The Stoics didn't ask for an easy life. They asked for the strength to endure the hard one well. That's what makes your struggle sacred. Not that it's pleasant, but that it's purposeful. You can let your struggle make you bitter, or you can let it make you wise. You can let it close your heart, or you can let it break it open wide enough to hold others too. You can spend your life asking, "Why me?" Or you can ask, "What is this trying to teach me?" Every scar you carry tells a story, not of defeat, but of survival, of nights you didn't think you'd make it through, and mornings you showed up anyway. A battle no one saw, but you fought with everything you had. Your struggle is sacred because it changes your relationship with the world. You stop judging others so quickly. You stop needing to be right all the time. You begin to listen differently, not to reply, but to understand. You start seeing the pain behind other people's anger, the fear behind their pride. And you realize we are all just trying to find peace in our own way. That realization is enlightenment, not in the spiritual sense, but in the most human one. You become less concerned with appearing perfect and more devoted to becoming real. And that's when healing begins, quietly, humbly, deeply. Your struggle is sacred because it will not last forever. Every storm moves, every season shifts, every pain eventually becomes a memory, a scar that no longer bleeds, but still reminds you where you've been. When that day comes, you look back and realize something powerful. The person you became through the struggle is someone you actually admire. Someone more grounded, more patient, more alive. And you'll see that nothing was wasted. Not the tears, not the fear, not even the nights you thought you were done. Because all of it, every ounce of it, was shaping you into someone the world needed. So if you're in the middle of the storm right now, don't rush to escape it. Breathe through it, learn from it, let it carve you into something stronger, softer, wiser. You are not being punished. You are being prepared. And one day, when someone else is struggling to stand, you will be the one who understands exactly how to help. Not because you read it in a book, but because you lived it. That's why your struggle is sacred. Because it's not just shaping you for yourself. It's shaping you for the moment when someone else will need your light. But maybe the most sacred thing about struggle is this. It brings you back to yourself. In the beginning, you fight it. You try to fix it, escape it, bargain with it. You think, if I just push harder, pray louder, smile longer, this will end. But eventually, you stop fighting. And in that surrender, you find something unexpected. Peace, not the kind of peace that comes from everything being fine, but the kind that comes from finally accepting that it doesn't have to be. You learn that peace isn't the absence of pain. It's the presence of understanding. You realize that your heart was never meant to be perfect. It was meant to be open. The Stoics called it amor fati, the love of fate, not tolerating your fate, not enduring it, but loving it. Even the parts that make no sense, even the chapters that hurt like hell, because you begin to see the hidden pattern. That life was never against you. It was shaping you. Every disappointment was pushing you toward authenticity. Every loss was pruning away what was false. Every heartbreak was deepening your capacity to love again. But better. When you reach that place, your struggle becomes sacred in the truest sense. It becomes your prayer, your offering, your way of participating in the mystery of being alive. You stop asking for an easier path and start asking for the wisdom to walk this one with grace. And one day, without realizing it, you'll wake up lighter. Not because your life got easier, but because you did. You will carry your pain differently, like something precious instead of poisonous. And in your calm, others will feel safe. They'll look at you and see proof that pain can be survived, that struggle can be holy, that brokenness can be beautiful. That's the gift hidden inside every hardship. Not just survival, but transformation. Because when you honor your struggle instead of resisting it, it doesn't destroy you, it anoints you. There comes a point in every life when you realize you have to start over, not because you failed, not because you're weak, but because you've grown too much to stay where you are. Maybe it happens quietly. One morning you wake up, look around, and everything that once felt right suddenly feels small. Or maybe it happens violently. Life rips something from your hands, leaving you standing in the wreckage of what used to be. Either way, that moment arrives, and when it does, it takes everything you have not to collapse under the weight of it. Starting over is one of the hardest things a human being can do, because it asks you to walk into the unknown with nothing but your faith. It demands that you trust yourself more than your history, that you release what's familiar, even when it still feels like home. Seneca knew this pain intimately. He lost his fortune, his power, his freedom, and eventually his life. Yet before his final breath, he wrote, "Life is long if you know how to use it." He wasn't talking about years. He was talking about moments like this, the courage to begin again, even when you're scared. Because the truth is, you don't need a perfect plan to start over. You only need the willingness to take one honest step forward. I once met a woman in her early 50s who had spent her whole life building a career everyone admired. Good income, stability, respect. But one day, she realized something devastating. She had everything, except herself. So she walked away, from the job, from the title, from the comfort, and she started over as a school teacher, beginning again at the bottom, surrounded by children who didn't care about her resume. People thought she had lost her mind, but she hadn't. She had found her soul. She told me something I'll never forget. For the first time in years, I feel alive. Scared, yes, but alive. That's what starting over really is. It's not erasing your past, it's integrating it, carrying every scar, every lesson, every heartbreak, and letting it become part of your new foundation. You don't start from zero. You start from wisdom, from resilience, from the quiet knowing that even if you lose everything again, you'll still have yourself. And that's enough. But let's be honest. Starting over hurts. It's lonely. It's uncertain. You'll question yourself 100 times a day. You'll wonder if you've made a mistake. And you'll be tempted to go back to the familiar pain you already understand, rather than the unfamiliar freedom waiting for you. That's when you have to remember, beginnings don't feel like beginnings. They feel like endings, like standing in an empty room where the echoes of your old life still linger. But slowly, quietly, something begins to shift. The silence turns into space, and in that space, you start hearing yourself again. Your laughter, your curiosity, your truth. You realize you didn't lose your direction. You were being redirected. You weren't being punished. You were being called higher. The Stoics believe that nature never wastes effort. Every fall, every loss, every restart, it's all part of the design. Even this chapter, the one you never asked for, is exactly where you're meant to be. Starting over takes courage, yes, but it also takes gentleness. You have to learn to speak to yourself the way you would to a dear friend. It's okay to be scared. It's okay not to have all the answers. It's okay to rebuild slowly. You don't owe anyone proof that you're fine. You don't owe the world an explanation for your healing. You only owe yourself honesty. The kind that whispers, "I can begin again." Even here, and as you begin, something miraculous happens. The world starts to respond to your bravery. People, opportunities, moments of grace, they find their way to you. Because courage is magnetic. Every act of faith sends a quiet signal into the universe that says, "I'm ready." And life, somehow, always answers. So if you're standing at the edge of something new right now, a new city, a new dream, a new self, don't let fear convince you that you're too old, too late, or too broken. You're none of those things. You're right on time. Because the person who's beginning again today carries more wisdom than the one who started before. Starting over is not weakness, it's evolution. It's choosing authenticity over approval. It's choosing possibility over predictability. It's choosing to believe that your story isn't over yet, that there are still pages unwritten, still mornings waiting to be lived. And yes, it's risky. You might fail, you might fall, you might question yourself again. But here's what's even riskier. Reaching the end of your life and realizing you never had the courage to start the life you truly wanted. Every time you begin again, you honor the divine rhythm of growth. You remind yourself that endings are not deaths, they're doorways. You prove that hope isn't a feeling, it's a decision. So take that first step. Even if your hands shake, even if your heart doubts, even if no one else understands. Because every great life begins not with certainty, but with courage. If you've made it this far, it means something inside you is ready. Ready to release the old stories, ready to walk into the unknown, ready to trust that no matter what happens, you'll handle it with grace. And when the fear rises again, and it will, just remind yourself, you've started over before. You can do it again. Each time, you will come back wiser, softer, stronger, because life isn't one long straight path. It's a series of beginnings, each one braver than the last. So take a breath, let the past fall away, and whisper to yourself, I am not starting from nothing, I am starting from experience. That's the courage the Stoics spoke of. Not loud, not grand, but quiet and steady. The kind that says, I will not stay where my soul no longer fits. Because the truth is simple. You don't need to know where this road leads. You only need to trust that you're strong enough to walk it. And when you look back, years from now, you will see it clearly. You never really started from nothing. Every new beginning carried within it everything you had ever been, everything you had ever learned, everything you had ever survived. That's not weakness. That's grace. That's rebirth. You'll realize that every ending that once broke your heart was never meant to destroy you. It was preparing you to stand taller, to love deeper, to live truer. The person you become after starting over will not be defined by what you lost, but by what you chose to keep. Your resilience, your honesty, your faith. And maybe one day, someone will come to you, lost, afraid, uncertain. They'll ask how you found the strength to begin again. You'll smile softly, not because you have the perfect answer, but because you finally understand. The courage to start over isn't something you find once. It's something you grow each time you refuse to stay small. So take this moment, right here, as proof that you can, that it's not too late, that no matter how many times life has asked you to rebuild, you still have the strength to rise again, quietly, patiently, endlessly. Because every time you start over, you are not beginning from scratch, you are beginning from wisdom, and that is the most sacred kind of power there is. If you're still here, listening to these words, it means something inside you refuses to give up. You've walked with me through every truth, through every quiet storm. You faced the shadows most people spend their lives running from. And that alone, that willingness to face yourself, is strength. Let's take a breath and remember what we've learned together. Your worst day was never meant to destroy you. It was meant to reveal you, to strip away the illusions, the noise, the masks, until only your real self remained. The version of you that's honest, raw, and unbreakable in its humanity. Your sensitivity, that depth you once tried to hide, is not a flaw. It's your compass. It's how you see truth when others look away. It's how you feel life in color while others only see in gray. It's the gift that lets you love deeper, create meaning, and understand pain in a way that heals others. Then there's the art of losing everything. The strange beauty of having life take from you everything you thought you couldn't live without. only to find that what remained was enough. Loss doesn't end you. It redefines you. It reminds you that you were never meant to be owned by what you possess, but freed by what you learned to release. Your broken dreams were never evidence of failure. They were signposts pointing you toward a truer path. The universe doesn't punish you when something collapses. It redirects you. It takes away the small dreams so you can make space for the larger one waiting in the quiet corners of your heart. Sometimes what doesn't work out for you is working for you in ways you can't yet see. And your struggles, the long nights, the silent battles, the tears you never let anyone see, those were never meaningless. They were sacred because through them, you learned compassion. You learned patience. You learned to sit with the parts of yourself that used to terrify you and to find peace there. The Stoics call this amor fortis, the love of fate, to not just endure what happens, but to embrace it as a necessary piece of your becoming. And finally, the last truth, the courage to start over. That quiet decision to rebuild, not because you're fearless, but because you're faithful. Because something inside you whispers, there's more to me than this. Starting over isn't a sign of defeat. It's proof of your aliveness. It's your soul saying, I still believe in my own becoming. You see, these 6 truths aren't just Stoic lessons. They're the architecture of a resilient life. They remind you that wisdom isn't found in perfection, but in persistence. That peace isn't the absence of chaos, but the presence of clarity. That love, the kind that lasts, is born from the ashes of everything you thought would destroy you. So if there's one message you carry with you after this video, let it be this: you are not broken. You are breaking open. Every scar, every tear, every failure, they're not stains on your story. They're signatures of your survival. Marcus Aurelius wrote, the impediment to action advances action. What stands in the way becomes the way. That's what all of this has been about. The pain wasn't in your path. It was your path. And walking through it has made you into someone wiser, calmer, kinder, stronger. Someone who doesn't just exist, but lives with intention. So now, before this video ends, take a moment. Close your eyes. Think of every loss, every storm, every time you thought you couldn't go on, and whisper to yourself, I did, because you did, and you will again. You've survived every version of your worst day. You've rebuilt from ruins no one even saw, and you've carried the kind of pain that turns ordinary people into something extraordinary. That's your quiet power, the strength that doesn't shout. The strength that endures, the strength that shines in stillness. If this message reached you today, if it stirred something deep within, don't let it fade when the screen goes dark. Carry it with you. Let it change the way you look at yourself. Let it remind you that you're not behind in life. You're right where you need to be, doing the inner work no one applauds, but everyone must face. And if these words have meant something to you, do one small thing, leave a sign. Hit the like button, not for me, but for yourself, as a promise that you'll keep going, that you'll choose growth over comfort, meaning over distraction, stillness over noise. Leave a comment below and write these words: I am not broken, I am breaking open. Because when you write it, you declare it, not just for yourself, but for someone else who's reading the comments right now, wondering if they still have a reason to believe. Share this with someone whose silence you understand, the friend who hides their pain behind laughter, the one who needs to know they're not alone. Because healing begins in the moment we stop pretending and start connecting. And if you want to keep walking this path with me, subscribe, not out of habit, but out of choice. Because here, we don't chase perfection. We study peace. We practice strength. We learn to live with courage, compassion, and calm. One truth at a time. Remember this: you are not your pain. You are the power that rises from it. You are not the story of what broke you. You are the wisdom of what healed you. You came into this world with everything you need to handle whatever comes your way. Not easily, not without scars, but with quiet grace. And the fact that you're still here, listening, breathing, becoming, means the universe hasn't given up on you. So don't give up on yourself. You're not broken. You're breaking open. And that makes all the difference.